Hello and welcome back to your mat. Today's class is going to be for those of us suffering from insomnia. Now, most of us will have a bout of insomnia at least at some point in our lifetime or already have. So this is going to be a great class for any of you just having trouble going to sleep, or possibly you woke up in the middle of the night and you can't go back to sleep. So this class is for you. For today's class, I would recommend possibly a pillow, a blanket, a rolled up towel. You don't have to have this, but this can make this a little bit more of a cush experience. And also, if you have some wall space nearby, that would be great for our last pose. As you can see, I don't have wall space, so I will obviously show that to you without the wall space. So if you don't have wall space, no problem. We'll start with a quote by Avery Sawyer. I think this one's kind of fun. I think insomnia is a sign that a person is interesting. So take that for what you want. We're going to start standing for just a moment. You may be thinking, I'm trying to go to sleep. Hear me out. So we're going to start standing. And just for a moment, I just want you just to kind of shake everything out. So just kind of let your legs shake, your arms shake, just get loose here. You may have some kind of energy flowing through you that is just keeping you from going back to sleep or maybe going to sleep at all. So just kind of shake it out a little bit and just make this free movement. Do whatever you need to do to kind of shake out some of that energy that might be in you that you just need to get rid of for a moment. So shake it all out. Let it all go. Got to start somewhere. Acknowledge that you're having trouble going to sleep or staying asleep. It's okay. It's something we all deal with at some point. All right, from there, go ahead and stand still for just a moment. Come into a nice standing posture here. And I've got my feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart. Now, we're not going for our deepest in any of these poses today. We are just trying to let go and release. So keep that in mind throughout all the poses. So I am in a little bit wider stance than my normal stance. My feet are slightly wider than hip distance apart. And we're just going to ragdoll and fold forward. So go ahead and come forward, bend in those knees as much as you'd like. Just let your body hang. Hang in space. Let your head hang. Let your arms hang. Just ragdoll it. Let your spine hang from your hips. If you find that this is really tough on your hamstrings, sit in a chair and do the same idea. Just ragdoll over your legs. So I'm going to step more upright here since I have a microphone. But for you, just let everything go. So really, I'll turn sideways so you can see this also. Just really let it just dangle and go. And I've got a deep bend in my knees, letting my arms go. I'm not efforting here. I'm just really letting it all go. So as I said, if you have a chair that would work better for you, do that. But we're going to stay here for a few breaths. And you go ahead and stay there. I'm going to walk you through this pose. So again, just letting your body hang in space. Let your neck feel like it's 100 pounds. Like it is just the heaviest thing on the planet and it's just reaching toward the ground. Let your spine really come out of your hips, pour over, and really also hang there in space also. And your arms, again, like they just weigh a ton. Let all of that go into this forward fold. We'll be here for another breath. Breathe here in and out through your nose at your own comfortable pace. Don't try to go for your deepest bend here. You're really just trying to let things go. Let your spine hang in space. Sometimes we have trouble sleeping because maybe we've got a little bit of a pain in our body or some sort of tightness. So let's see if we can let some of that go before we try to go back to sleep. Another breath. Then let all that go with a nice sigh. Let it all go. And then go ahead and come all the way back up. Do a little shake there again. So go ahead and shake out everything for a little bit. And let's come seated for a moment. We're pretty much for the rest of the class, I should say. So now we're going to come down on the ground and we're going to stay on the ground. So before we go to the next pose, I'd like to do what is called moon channel breathing. And before you're going, oh, this sounds like weird, I'm out of here. It's literally all it is breathing in through your left nostril and out through your right. This is more calming to your system. There's a whole explanation for that, but this is a short video, so we'll skip the whole explanation. So just try it with me because, at this point you can't sleep anyway, so why not, right? So we're going to close off each nostril as we go through this. So you can just use your thumb and your index finger is fine. So pinch right around right here on the bridge of your nose. For a moment, let that loose for a moment and go ahead and inhale through your left nostril, closing off your right with your thumb. So I'm closing off my right nostril with my thumb, inhaling through my left. And then you're going to close off that left nostril with your index finger. Release the right and exhale through your right nostril. Now we're going to inhale through the left nostril again. So close off the right, inhale through the left. Close off the left, exhale through the right. Again, inhale through the left, close off the right. Close off the left, exhale through the right. Keep going with that. So we're inhaling through the left nostril and exhaling through the right. So we're always inhaling on the same side, exhale on the same side. So inhale on the left side and exhale on your right side. Closing off the opposite nostril. Do a couple more rounds of that on your own before we move into our next posture. And from there, go ahead and release your hands down. Breathe normally. Now, for this next pose, we're going to do a seated forward fold. So much like we were doing standing, now we're going to be seated. This is where a pillow or a blanket, rolled up towel could come in really handy, especially if you have tight hips. So go ahead and sit up on that pillow if you'd like. And another tip for this one, we're going to stretch our legs out in front of us, long on the mat. And another tip is to do a little bend in your knees there. So a lot of times we're really tight when we try to forward fold. It's like, this isn't working. So go ahead and bend those knees and give them a good bend here. Again, we're not trying to be the best forward fold we've ever done in our entire life. Sit up tall, get tall, and just again, let yourself ragdoll over. So you're just going to roll over those knees. You can grab a hold of your feet if that's accessible. With the bend in your knee, it probably is more accessible. Just let yourself go into this pose again. If you have more room for flexibility, you've got more room, more range of motion, feel free to go ahead and straighten out those legs. But most of us are tight. So just go ahead and just release into this. Just let everything round itself forward. Don't worry about having your toes flex. They can be kind of going here. They don't need to be flexed. They can be loose if you'd like. We're just letting everything go here. And we're also folding in. This is also a sign to our body, to our nervous system, that it's okay. It's time to kind of unwind, let go of whatever nervous energy we might be hanging on to or whatever's keeping us awake. And while you're in this pose, just continue to breathe. I highly recommend closing your eyes in these poses. Helps also signify or signal to the body, hey, trying to go to sleep now. So another inhale and exhale here. And then inhale and come all the way back up. And now we're going to come lying down. So from here, we're going to be lying down the rest of the class. So you see our progression we're going here. Now we're going to go into reclining bound angle pose. So what I have is I have the soles of my feet together. And my knees are out to the side. Now, we're not going again for a deep one here. We're going to be laying down for this one. So when you do this, go ahead and bring your feet out more like a diamond shape. So my legs are more in a diamond shape versus really tucked far in here. So find that nice, and let it be loose here. Let it be really loose and comfortable. Comfort is key. Again, use that pillow. You've got that pillow with you. This is great for your neck and your head. Go ahead and lie back into your reclined bound angle pose. This helps open up the hips, which for some of us can cause some problems with trying to go to sleep. If our hips are tight or wound up, plus you might be carrying some emotional energy in your hips, so this kind of helps open the hips, the groin area. If you really find this is just not working for you, you're always welcome to do the opposite. So you can bring both of your feet out to the sides of the mat with the soles of the feet on the ground and let your knees knock in. Some of us, this may not work for the lower back, so we want to be comfortable here. So pick what's going to work for you. If you can do the bound angle, that's great. And close down the eyes. Again, you're not trying to make yourself go to sleep. A lot of times it can be very frustrating because we're trying too hard, or we're getting frustrated because we can't go to sleep, and that makes it even harder to go to sleep. So acknowledge that you cannot go to sleep or can't go back to sleep. It's okay. It's part of life. Breathing here and being okay with that. That's half the battle right there. Another inhale, exhale there. And then go ahead and bring both of your knees into your chest. And we're just going to do a really simple supine lying down spinal twist to kind of release the back, release all of that. So go ahead and bring your knees over to the right. And that left arm can just go out to the side. Again, you're not really efforting here. We're not trying to work out before we go to bed. We're really just trying to let things go. I'm going to look straight up at the ceiling here instead of looking over my left hand. You can do either one though. If you find it better for your neck to help release the right side of your neck, you can go ahead and do that and look over to your left, or you can look straight up. So find what works for you and just let everything go here for a moment. Again, closing your eyes and letting all that go. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, bring those knees back up to your chest. Go ahead and give a nice big hug here. And then you're going to bring both of your knees over to the left and your arm out to the right. And look in any direction that is most comfortable for your neck. So wherever that might be. Make sure you breathe here. Nice inhale. Exhale and let it go. Let it go of any energy you're hanging on to, any thoughts that are keeping you awake. Try your best. Easier said than done to just let those go. Another inhale. And exhale, slide that out. And now bring your knees back into your chest. Give it a nice squeeze. Now here's where, I'll go ahead and roll over and sit up for just a moment. If you have a wall nearby, I'm going to come up to the wall. For those of you that don't have a wall nearby, that is fine. There is no worries about that. So we're going to do what's called legs up the wall. So if you know the pose, go ahead into it. Again, I'm going to use my pillow because this is nice for the head. Just help relaxing too. But let's say you don't have the wall, such as I. So what you're going to do is you're just going to, and if you do have the wall, either way, it doesn't matter. You're going to bring your backside here, your bum area, up against that wall as much as you can. And then I'm going to pretend there's an imaginary wall here just to give you an idea. And then you're going to swing those legs up and around and up the wall. And obviously I don't have a wall here, so it's a simulation here. But you're going to bring the wall, then you're going to have your hips and your bum area right up against the wall. And then you're going to have your legs up the wall. So if you don't have a wall, this is a little bit more challenging to hold your feet up here, to hold your legs up here. So if you don't have a wall, you could also use a chair. You could even maybe if you have a coffee table, you could just even have them bent and put them on the coffee table. So any of these options would work. And we're going to leave our legs here hanging and up against the wall or in space or wherever you might be, whatever you may have to prop your legs upon. Go ahead and stay there. I'm going to walk you through this last pose. And legs up the wall is actually a fantastic pose for a lot of different things, but it's known for helping with insomnia. I'm not saying it's going to put you right to sleep. It's not a magic pill, but legs up the wall has a lot of great benefits. It reverses the flow of the blood, so your blood will flow from your feet down into your hip area. There's just a lot of great benefits of this pose all around. And it's also calming to the nervous system. So we're going to stay in this pose. And for those of you that liked the moon channel breathing, or the breathing in the left nostril and out the right, go ahead and do that in this pose. You just take your fingers and go ahead and close off your right and inhale through your left. Close off your left, exhale through your right. Close off your right, inhale through your left. Close off your left, exhale through your right. And keep doing that a few rounds, or whatever breathing techniques work for you. That there might be something else you like better. Maybe you like to lengthen your exhales. So inhale to whatever count works for you, and then lengthen that exhale by 1 or 2 counts. So we're going to stay here for just another moment. You're welcome to stay here longer. Any of these poses today that we've done, feel free that if you're really having trouble and just can't go to sleep or you can't go back to sleep, stay in any of these poses longer. So stay in each one of them for, a few minutes or longer. And legs at the wall, especially if you're up against a wall, you could stay there for a while and you might just fall asleep there. So that's a good thing. So just remember that insomnia is something that happens to all of us at some point probably in our lives. I don't hardly know anybody who's never suffered with it. So most of us suffer with it at some point. It's a part of life. It happens. It can be very frustrating. But the best thing that you can do when you can't go to sleep is stay off of your devices, stay off of the phone, the computer, the TV. That's not going to help you go back to sleep. Do your best to either read a book, do some of these yoga poses, or even journal. Maybe you can't go to sleep because your mind is racing. So I would suggest writing it down. Just write out whatever's in your mind. Put it on the just don't use a computer. So, but if that works better for you, then I understand using the computer there to at least maybe write out some of those thoughts. So I hope this class was helpful. You can come out of this pose at any moment that you like, or you can stay in there and just let my voice fade off. Thank you very much for joining me for this class. I hope that it helps you in some way with your sleep. Have a wonderful evening, and I hope that you get a good night's rest. Thank you again.